Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Caird Hall and to Abertay University's graduation celebrations. Before the ceremony begins, I'd like to go through some housekeeping arrangements. At the beginning of the ceremony, you'll be invited to stand to welcome the Vice-Chancellor's procession as it enters the hall. During the ceremony, we would appreciate it if guests could remain seated. At the end of the ceremony, please remain in your places until the Chancellor's procession and all of our new graduates have processed out of the hall. Finally, I'd be very grateful if you'd take a few moments to make sure your mobile phones are switched off. There are no fire drills planned for today, so please give your attention to a safety announcement from the Caird Hall. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of security, should an evacuation be necessary, the house lights will come on full. The auditorium doors will open and staff will advise on the exit route. For the comfort of others, please ensure your mobile phones are switched off.
Provost, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to this graduation ceremony of Abertay University. First of all, my warmest congratulations to all of you who are graduating today. Graduation is a very significant step forward in your lives, both for a recognition of what you have achieved and for confidence in what you can rely upon in the future. Each of you can look back with pride on what you have done, the knowledge and skills that you have acquired, and the ability to apply them creatively and constructively in working with others. I'm delighted that members of your family and friends have been able to be here today to join the joy of this occasion, for it is an opportunity to celebrate. As you move on in your career, I wish you satisfaction in what lies ahead. Remember to keep in touch with Abertay University, just as we will follow your careers with interest. Together we share pride in this modern and innovative university, and the high regard which is held by others. It's inspiration to all. And now, I declare that the convocation of Abertay University 2016 is now assembled.
Salam, peace be upon you. As we gather this morning of Graduation Day at our Winter Graduation Ceremony 2016, we celebrate all that you have achieved in your recent studies at Abertay University, through good times and in difficult circumstances alike. We recognize with gratitude those who have particularly supported us, our teachers and fellow students, our families and friends, even the many staff of Abertay University, without whom a community of learning cannot function safely and efficiently. As we now move forward to the new opportunities which lie ahead of us, may we bring fresh ideas and compassion in our efforts to meet the many challenges and dangers facing our global and local communities. May we, in our lives, help others flourish too. May we be encouraged to overcome fear and hatred with tolerance and understanding. And may we build enduring relationships across differences of races, religion, and culture, strengthening and shared humanity. My dear friends, this journey of learning has just started. A great man once said, "Seek knowledge from cradle to grave." We at Abertay all wish you all in your future career paths best wishes and congratulations to all. Thank you.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you Matthew Said. Matthew Said, first renowned as an international table tennis athlete, is now a well-known journalist, broadcaster, author, and commentator who has worked with The Times for over 15 years. His two books, Bounce of 2010 and Black Box Thinking of 2015, were both critically acclaimed, the former for emphasizing the power of practice and the latter for attributing success to a positive attitude to failure. The themes of black box thinking are now being used by schools, the NHS, and police authorities to transform their cultures. His many awards in journalism include Sports Feature Writer of the Year 2008, and Sports Journalist of the Year 2009. In his sporting career, Matthew's phenomenal success at table tennis made him the top table tennis player in the UK for 10 years and took him to the highest ranks in the world. He achieved 3 Commonwealth Singles Championships and competed in both the Barcelona 1992 and the Sydney 2000 Olympics. His unique defensive ability made him one of the most appealing players to watch. He eschewed the ubiquitous 3-ball kill tactic, serve, return, smash, using instead an almost Zen-based aesthetic of sporting accomplishment. His inexorable drive to win was characterized as impregnability based on vulnerability. Howard Jacobson, the author, journalist, and erstwhile sportsman, himself a significant table tennis player, describes Matthew's principal weapon at the table as being a sweet parabola of a forehand, like the taking the heads off daisies with a scimitar, almost thinking the ball back on the table. Matthew was born and grew up in Reading, a second-generation immigrant, his father from Pakistan and his mother from Wales. After leaving school at 16 to pursue his career in top-level table tennis, he self-studied for his A-levels. After achieving entry to Oxford, he went on to gain first-class honours in PPE, Philosophy, Politics and Economics, in 1995, having won his first English men's teams title in table tennis in 1994. In his book, Bounce, Matthew asks, how was it that just one street in Reading produced more international class table tennis players than the rest of the UK put together? His answer is not expressed in sensational journalese, but rather is framed in the rigorous work of neuroscience and psychology research. It is thorough, insightful, and also chastening, both in its debunking of the myth of talent and its emphasis instead on the power of practice. Matthew is aware of the need to encourage youngsters who want to become immersed in sport, yet also need to build a life-term career and to achieve a balance between work and family life. To that end, giving back to sport, part of what he has been blessed with in terms of achievement, he has founded the charity Greenhouse, which aims to empower youngsters with sporting endeavour. Greenhouse currently supports more than 10,000 youngsters in over 30 full-time school programs. Matthew is also an ambassador for the Pixel Educational Foundation, a network of 1,500 schools which aims to improve achievement and therefore life chances for pupils. Sir, it gives me great pleasure to present to you Matthew Syed, elite athlete, sports journalist, commentator, author, psychologist, and inspirer of young talents for the award of the honorary degree of Doctor of Liberal Arts of Abertay University.
Chancellor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for the honour of bestowing me with this honorary degree. I'm hugely gratified, and I've been asked to make a few remarks. When I graduated from university in 1995, I thought the learning was over, and it was time to do. I think I've realized as I've got older that learning and doing are inextricably linked. And this is one of the themes of the book that was kindly mentioned in the introduction, Black Box Thinking, which introduces the concept of a learning organization, a learning culture. I start with the example of aviation, which is a successful organization when it comes to system safety, but is constantly trying to learn the lessons to make the system more safe. So every minute of every hour of every day, near-miss events are reported. These are analyzed in their statistical totality to figure out what are the latent weaknesses in our assumptions, in our system, what can we rationally do differently to avert an accident before it's even happened. And if, God forbid, there is a major failure, a crash, every aircraft is equipped with 2 black boxes. One records the electronic information, the other records the ambient sound, how the pilot and co-pilot were interacting in the build-up to the crash. So they can figure out exactly what went wrong by rescuing the boxes from the rubble of the accident, again, to make the reforms to ensure the same mistake never happens again. In real time, they're learning the lessons to get the job done. I know this university is very interested in technology. Google is an organization which hires talented people but is constantly learning. Ought to pay more taxes too, but that's a slightly different story. So they run 12,000 A/B tests every year, seeking out these small improvements. A classic one is the color of the web links, which are blue. But is it the best shade of blue? They divided the color blue into 40 different shades, randomly allocated users who clicked onto the website onto each of the different shades, measured the resulting profitability of the relationships, established that one of the shades was better than the other 39, changed all of their web links to that shade of blue for an annual uplift in revenue of $200 million. They do 12,000 of those learning tests every year. That's a learning organization. One other example, if I may, briefly. I was talking to Judy Murray yesterday over dinner, and she was talking about her son, Andy, who is a doer, but also a learner. After every match, he looks at the tape, watches it back, figures out how he can change his tactics, work more effectively with the coach to ensure that the next time he plays Novak Djokovic, as he did at the O2 on Sunday, he can win, which he did. A doer and a learner. I just want to say how gratifying it is to be in an organization, a university, that really gets this idea that learning and doing are bound up, and that it doesn't just provide its students with the conceptual framework, but also the psychological attributes that enables you to learn, to adapt, and to face up to the challenges that are an inevitable part of life, and is able to leverage them as part of a rational and dynamic process of change. And in closing, I hope to an extent, I embody this a bit in my own life as a former ping pong player. Shouldn't really call it that, I'm allowed to. Moving into journalism, and then as an author, and now working with big organizations about trying to get this cultural change. It's a psychological question more than anything else. But the 2 people who equipped me with that mindset, that crusading mindset, are both here, and I'd like to pay tribute to them both. My mother, Dilys, and my father, Abbas. Thank you very much indeed.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you Rob Hubbard. Born in Kingston upon Hull, Rob Hubbard is a British musician and composer, best known for his composition of video games music. An electronic music pioneer, his innovative use of code on very limited computer hardware, combined with an innate sense of musicality, have made him one of the most recognizable names and most respected figures in the history of video games music. Having penned almost 100 video game soundtracks across multiple platforms, he is justifiably recognized as a key figure in establishing the technologies, conventions, and sound of video games and interactive music. Rob discovered his love of music after taking up the piano at age 7, and his school years were spent playing in bands in and around Hull. After a brief period studying engineering in Southampton, Rob moved to Newcastle to study music, where he excelled, even teaching one of his music professors the complex syncopations of the New Orleans pianist, Professor Longhair. His early professional life was that of a gigging musician, playing sessions and backing cabaret acts in clubs. As the home computer revolution took hold in the early 1980s, Rob sensed the opportunity that this would bring, and he bought himself a Commodore 64 and taught himself to program the computer and its notorious sound interface device. Initially, he focused on games development, but his publisher was much more impressed with his musical talent and offered him his first professional games music commission with Gremlin graphics for Thing on a Spring. At the time when the industry was still professionalizing, Rob applied the work ethic of the professional musician, famously working through the night to complete the soundtrack of Elite's Commando. He combined musicianship with a deep technical understanding in a way that enabled him to continually innovate, developing a sound driver that allowed him to encode and generate whole pieces of music procedurally and efficiently. Rob's interactive soundtrack for Sanction won the Best Soundtrack in the Computer and Video Games Awards in 1987, and even today, 30 years on, electronic musicians are still deconstructing his music routines and learning from the techniques he pioneered. After working for several companies in the UK, Rob left Newcastle and moved across the Atlantic to work for Electronic Arts in America, becoming the company's first in-house audio specialist. While there, he continued to innovate, most significantly introducing sample playback in Skate or Die, a far from trivial task on an 8-bit microcomputer, a feat that he achieved by creatively pushing against the technical restrictions of the hardware. Rob went on to become audio technical director at Electronic Arts and an influential figure in the Interactive Audio Special Interest Group, before leaving the company to return to the UK in 2002. Now settled in semi-retirement, Rob maintains a very active musical life and is held in very high regard, both in the jazz community in his native Yorkshire, where he plays saxophone regularly, and by a new generation of musicians who have come to his music through the retro gaming movement. In 2003, he performed the UK's first live video games music event, Back in Time Live in Brighton. In 2005, he arranged the score to Archer McLean's International Karate, which was performed by the Prague Philharmonic Orchestra, and in 2014, he appeared in and composed music for the documentary feature From Bedrooms to Billions, a film that tells the story of the British video games industry. His current project is an imaginatively titled pre-mix album, Project Hubbard, a collaboration with record label owner Chris Abbott, and that reimagines his original Commodore music as an album Rob might have created in 1979 as an experimental synth artist. Sir, it gives me great pleasure to present to you Rob Hubbard for the award of honorary degree of Doctor of Music of Abertay University.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Chancellor, the Vice-Chancellor, honorary graduates, all the graduates, and everybody at Abertay for this award, for which I'm extremely honoured to receive. And for me, it's a very special privilege because somebody actually nominated somebody who was just an ordinary guy like me and was considered for this award. So for that reason, I'm very privileged to receive this award. Today, it's not really so much about me, but it's about your accomplishments for which you should be especially proud. You now have a qualification which is a springboard for your future and the next phase of your life, and it proves you have the passion, desire, and above all, you have the extreme intellect to succeed. I'd like to share a couple of things with you. The first thing I'd like to talk about is advice. Now, when I was a small child of about, well, not small, when I was about 13 actually, I went to see this jazz organ player who I thought was just fantastic. And I plucked up the courage to go up to this guy and I said to him, I've never heard anything like this. I said, how on earth do you manage to play this stuff? And he turned around to me and said, well, you're either born with it or you're not. You can't learn it. So I thought, okay. So next day I got up and I went to the piano and thought, well, something's got to come out if I'm born with it. And the only thing that came out was a Chopin waltz. So I tried again, and the next thing that came out was a Beethoven sonata. I thought, well, that's it. I'm devastated. I am not born with anything musical. So a couple of years later, I happened to get hold of an LP, which you might, the kind of a round plastic thing, black. And these old things used to play on something called a record player, which used to have 4 speeds, one of which was 16. And you could slow the record down to half speed. Anyway, I got this Jack McDuff album and I slowed it down to 16 and started to pick out a few of the notes that the guy was playing. And eventually I learnt a couple of the licks and figured out what the guy was doing. And that was basically the start of me learning how to transcribe music in that kind of a style, and was a springboard for my basically learning everything I could from records and every other source. So the thing is, if I ever met that guy, I've no idea who it was, but if I ever met that guy, then I'm sure I would say a nasty word to him, or I might biff him on the nose. So the moral there is that you should be careful about advice that you take, because you get good advice and you get bad advice. And I received an email the other day, and it was to Rob Hubbard, and I thought, this is interesting. I opened it up, and it said that they were trying to contact me because of some guy called Seamus L. Hubbard from Salt Lake City, who died and left $3 million that he has left to me in a will. And then the email carried on saying, I advise you to send me your bank details. Which is another example of pretty bad advice. So I went on google.com and I typed in Seamus L. Hubbard, and I got to the 256 page of Google, and I still couldn't find any reference to this guy. So I thought, how crazy are these people if the best name they can come up with is Seamus L. Hubbard? So if you're giving advice, my advice to you is to make your own call on the advice, and don't take it all as 100%. The second thing that I'd like to share with you is about Benjamin Franklin said there's only 2 things in life you can be sure of, death and taxes. In actual fact, it wasn't Benjamin Franklin who said, there was 2 other people before him who said that quote. But there is one third thing that you can be sure of, and that is change. And change comes in many different forms. When I worked for Electronic Arts in the late 80s, early 90s, Electronic Arts was an extremely visionary company led by a guy called Trip Hawkins. And we used to regularly have brainstorming sessions. In fact, he used to take the whole company off site for a couple of days to places like Pajaro Dunes in Monterey, and we'd just sit and brainstorm in groups about things. And they used to come up with all kinds of slogans like "We see further" and "Real life in a box." And one of their slogans they came up with was "Mutate or die." And they all presented us with T-shirts with "Mutate or die." And the point about this is you have to be prepared for change, because it is going to be inevitable, whether through changing technology or if you work for a company, sometimes the management will change on a dime overnight and cause great upset to what's going on. I think things will change through personal circumstances. So I would say embrace the challenge of change and don't be afraid of taking risks. Develop your own skills and intellect to the fullest potential and enjoy the journey. And I would say basically give everything 150%, because later on in life you will have time to relax and smell the roses. But initially I would give it 150%. And one other piece of advice I would say is to try to take a half day off every week and do something different. I know that if you work in the video games business, that's virtually impossible, because everybody expects you to work 7 days for 10 years before you take a day off. So once again, I'd like to thank you for this award, and just mention about, it's a shame that Dundee did not get the City of Culture, but it is actually a great help for Hull, because they really needed it more than anybody else.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you Judy Murray. World-renowned tennis coach, former captain of Great Britain's Federation Cup team, and one of the most influential and inspiring voices in sport, Judy Murray was born and raised in Bridge of Allan. A talented tennis player, winning 64 junior and senior titles in an era with no indoor courts, she switched to badminton in the winter to maintain performance. She had a brief stint as a professional player in 1976, but homesickness saw her return to home shores and enrol at Edinburgh University to study languages. She graduated with a French and business degree in 1981 and worked in retail management before becoming a mum to Jamie in 1986, with Andy following 15 months later. Judy qualified as a tennis coach in 1976, and she drew upon this expertise when a full-time mum entertaining 2 boisterous boys. The run, catch, throw and balance games that she devised are credited with enhancing the physical literacy of her sons and putting them on the road to success. It's these 2 boys, Judy's sons, Andy and Jamie Murray, who will have made history by becoming the first brothers to top the Tennis World Rankings at the same time when the year-end rankings are released on Monday. Judy is a passionate advocate of the opportunities that tennis can provide, and consequently has launched a number of grassroots charitable campaigns in this regard. Her Set for Sport initiative drew upon those games that she devised for Jamie and Andy in their early years and resulted in the production of user-friendly resources to enable parents, play leaders, teachers and coaches to introduce children to sport. Our own students have benefited from being involved in the Tennis on the Road project, which aims to develop capacity in communities to run tennis sessions. The project recently partnered with Aberdeen Street Sport, launching a street tennis, and will be delivered by students to some of the more socially deprived communities in Aberdeen. The Tennis and Education LTA Tennis Foundation initiative that Judy supports is aimed at 2 to 22-year-olds and seeks to advance physical literacy, retain teenage players, support social change, and develop employability skills. The power of engagement in sport, such as tennis, to change lives and to develop active citizenship qualities in those involved is at the root of many of the campaigns which Judy has spearheaded, including supporting our own Dundee Academy of Sports outreach work. She is keen for tennis to shed the stereotypical elitist image that it can have, and has consequently has supported schemes which provide free of charge access to coaching and equipment in schools. Ranked in the top 20 of the Guardian newspaper's 50 most influential women in British sport, Judy is an excellent female role model for tennis. As well as launching the Miss Hits programme for 5 to 8-year-old girls, she has mentored many of Britain's leading women's players. A full-time tennis coach since 1994, Judy succeeded Nick Sears as captain to the Women's Federation Cup team in 2011, a role she held until March this year. Judy's fun and friendly side was revealed to a wider audience when she took part in the BBC hit programme Strictly Come Dancing, surviving for a credible 8-week run on the show. Described as forthright, tough, but warm and charismatic, what is very evident is that Judy Murray genuinely wants to make a difference and use tennis as a force for good. Sir, it gives me great pleasure to present to you Judy Murray for the award of Honorary Degree of Doctor of Education of Abertay University.
I'm really not sure about this hat. Chancellor, everybody at Abertay University, thank you very much for giving me this, this degree. I was thinking today when I walked in with the procession that the last time that I was in the Caird Hall was when I was dancing with Anton de Beek in his annual tour, which comes here, and I'm not sure which was the more terrifying. I do remember, though, that I had a glass of wine before I danced a waltz to Mull of Kintyre with him, and I came very close to falling off the end of the stage. It's another one of those moments where I realised if you stumble, you just laugh and make it part of the dance. I had some very encouraging words from my kids yesterday when I told them that I was coming here today, and they said, do you have to make a speech? And I said, yes, I do. And they know I'm not comfortable making speeches, and also that I developed this look when I was doing Strictly, which basically means I have no idea what I'm going to say next or do next, and it goes something like this. And when Anton, that I danced with, got the hang of this look, he developed all sorts of things that helped me to go the right way, like pinching me on the left side of my back if I had to go to the left, or blowing in my ear if my head had to go over. However, he's not here just now, so if you see that look, you'll know that I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to say next. So my kids yesterday, one of them said, well, if you're making a speech, make sure you talk loud enough. This is the son who thinks I'm best suited for snooker commentary. And the other son said, well, Mum, just don't try and be funny. And so I'll leave you to work out which one said which. I think it's quite easy. I started out as a volunteer at our local tennis club when my kids were small, and if I'm being perfectly honest, I did it to get a few hours out of the house because my kids were driving me nuts. When they were very little, they were 15 months apart, and you kind of feel like your life's come to an end, that all you're doing is changing nappies and feeding and so forth. But when I was at school, I always thought that I would be a PE teacher, and when I got to my 5th year in school, my form teacher said, look, there are no jobs in the teaching profession at this time, it's not a good way to go just now, and encouraged me to go off and do languages, which I didn't really use very much, but ultimately I have ended up being a sports teacher. And when I got into volunteering at the local club, there weren't tennis coaches in our area. There were very few tennis coaches in Scotland. It's very much a minority sport, but it's a sport that I love very much. And so I learned how to coach. And I'd done my first qualification when I was a student. And if I'm being honest, I did it to have something that I could earn some pocket money with, and I didn't really use it very much. But what I did learn when I did that first qualification as a 17-year-old was that it's actually not about the qualification, it's about what you do with the qualification. It's what you do once you've got it and you go out into the world and you have to practically apply it. And some years later, when some of the kids that I worked with at Dunblane, not my own kids because they were tiny, started to get better, I realised that I didn't know enough. So I upgraded my qualification, and a few years later I upgraded it again because I still didn't think I knew enough. And I wanted to learn. I wanted to create opportunities for the young people, and there was nobody to learn from. So I had to find ways to kind of educate myself. And I did a year-long course, and at the end of it I had this monster portfolio, and it was full of information. And at the end of it, I swear that I passed that course because I was clever, not because I was a good coach. So I had all this huge portfolio, and I thought, I still don't know how to practically apply it. And that's when I realised it was down to me to go out and find people to work alongside, to learn from. And like Rob said, there are good examples and there are not so good examples, but you can learn from everybody. You can follow the things that you think are good, and you can avoid the things that you think are not so good. So you can learn something from everyone. And as some of the Scottish kids that I worked with when I became the national coach got better and better, and we started to travel overseas, and I understood, about kind of awareness of international standards, I used to travel with a good old-fashioned video recorder, and they used to call me the spy because I used to film other coaches working, what they were doing, because I had nobody to learn from in Scotland. But over many years, for me, the journey that I went on was very much one of having to make things happen for yourself. If you wait for success to happen, it won't. It's not about what you have, it's about what you do with what you have. And ultimately, it is about working hard. I mean, who you become and what you achieve. There will always be people to help you, to open doors for you. The university has opened doors for you, your teachers, your parents. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to get out and work hard, learn from everybody that you can, because you never know where you'll end up. I never would have imagined that we would end up where we are, that my kids would do what they've done. I mean, there's no track record of success in tennis in Scotland, but I think what they've done shows that anything is possible. If you put your mind to it, you dream big, you believe in yourself, and you work hard. So what I would encourage all you young people to do is go out and smash it, because the ball is in your court. Thank you.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you the following students for the award, the Doctor of Philosophy.
For a thesis entitled Making It, Development Methodologies, Adaptability and Organisational Sustainability in Independent Games Development, investigating the impact of codified game development methodologies on the adaptability and sustainability of real-world independent game makers. Chris Lothorpe.
For a thesis entitled Structured Professional Judgment Approach to Risk Assessment, Generalisability Across Patient Groups for the Prediction of Adverse Outcomes in Secure Mental Health Care, a substantial contribution towards ensuring that risk management is proportionate and patient choice is enhanced in secure care. Laura O'Shea. For a thesis entitled Emotional Support and Inclusion for Blind and Partially Sighted People in the United Kingdom, the Development of a Counselling for Sight Loss, a Pluralistic Practice Model. This is a career-spanning body of work which has developed a novel approach towards improving the lives of people with hearing impairment. Mari Thurston.
For a thesis entitled Factors Controlling Root Growth in Heterogeneous Substrates, Physical Structures and Root Behaviour, showing that three-dimensional imaging of barley roots and transparent media can develop new theories governing plant growth, potentially leading to improved agricultural practices, Caroline Upton.
For a thesis entitled An Empirical Investigation of the Impact of Global Energy Transition on Nigerian Oil and Gas Exports, exploring the interdependent relationship between net energy exporting countries and net energy importing countries using a dependency theory and strategy issues analysis framework. The study has developed a model that is efficient in the export and import sector and has a significant socio-economic implications for the long term. Bukar Zena Waziri.
For a thesis entitled Leadership and Internal Guanxi in Chinese Electric Motor Enterprises, exploring and examining the role of ancient social networking systems, Guanxi, and leadership behavior in a very modern global Chinese enterprise, Jason Xinyan.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you the following students for the award of Master of Science by Research.
For a thesis entitled What Effect Does a Greater than 5% Rapid Weight Loss Have on Physical Performance Measures Related to Success in Weight Category Combat Sports, demonstrating that rapid weight loss is detrimental to combat sport performance and most so for inexperienced athletes, Ewan Maddox.
For a thesis entitled Exploring Creative Behavior Patterns at Work in Extrovert and Introvert Examining Creativity Organizational Setting by exploring creative behavior patterns at work in relation to such personality traits as extroversion and introversion conditions, Suzanne Mickelson.
For a thesis entitled Streaming of High-Resolution Textures Using a Web-Based Client-Server Model on Mobile Devices, Evaluating Methods for Delivering Satellite Imagery to Mobile Devices in the Field with Applications to Precision Agriculture, Vladeta Stojanovic.
Chancellor, that concludes the higher degree awards.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you those students who have gained awards within Dundee Business School. For the award of Master of Science in Oil and Gas Management, Olwadami Loria Adezian, Samia Amin, Veronica Egiofo, Thuba Razathuriai. For the award of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Accounting with Finance, Maria Boyle. For the award of Bachelor of Arts in Business Administration, Karen Denyer. For the award of Bachelor of Arts in Business Studies, Ashley Milne. For the award of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Human Resource Management, Megan McGuinness. And for the award of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in International Economics and Management, Jason Martin. Chancellor, that concludes the awards from Dundee Business School.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you those students who have gained awards within the School of Arts, Media and Computer Games. For the award of Masters of Professional Practice in Games Development, John Anderson. Glenn Cullen. Nelson da Costa. Louis Dimmick. David Dow. Oliver Dowling. Blair Gray. Callum Kenny. Benjamin Luff. Christopher Nash. Richard Piper. And Christopher Wynne. For the award of Master of Science in Ethical Hacking and Computer Security, John Elder. Ross Heenan. Danny Henderson. Ogenikomi Oju. And Precious Silas. For the award of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Computer Arts, Aaron Hall. Kamini Sukur. And Peter Varsky. For the award of Bachelor of Arts in Computer Arts, Connor McLean. For the award of Bachelor of Science with Honours in Computer Games Applications Development, Mark McLachlan. For the award of Bachelor of Science with Honours in Computer Games Technology, Rachel Crawford. For the award of Bachelor of Science with Honours in Computing, Alan Fordyce. For the award of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Creative Sound Production, Steph Taylor. For the award of Bachelor of Science with Honours in Ethical Hacking and Countermeasures, Alistair McLean. And for the award of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Game Design and Production Management, Stuart Palmer. Chancellor, that concludes the awards from the School of Arts, Media and Computer Games.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you those students who have gained awards within the School of Science, Engineering and Technology. For the award of Master of Professional Practice in Food and Drink Innovation, Packaging and Sustainability, Claire Simpson. For the award of Master of Science in Energy, Water and Environmental Management, Fatima Baba Ali. Ross Farmer. Cyril Gillot. Beatrice Legal. Jonathan Linton. And Sasuti Michael. For the award of Bachelor of Science with Honours in Biomedical Science, Andrew Bagri. And Cespina Daliani. For the award of Bachelor of Science with Honours in Forensic Sciences, Declan Place. And Alexandros Chiaras. For the award of Bachelor of Science in Forensic Sciences, Shawnee Scott. And Kirsty Simpson. And for the award of Bachelor of Science with Honours in Policing and Security, David McCrum. Chancellor, that concludes the awards from the School of Science, Engineering and Technology.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you those students who have gained awards within the School of Social and Health Sciences. For the award of Masters of Science in Counselling, Jill Whitfield. For the award of Postgraduate Diploma in Counselling, Tracy Mansfield. For the award of Master of Science in Psychology, Lindsay Ferguson. Mira Grotzner. Bulu Makubu. Samantha Matson. Kimberly McGarry. Kostas Rumakavish. Zachary Tweed. Natasha Vickers. For the award Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Criminological Studies, Adam Blues. And Andrew Hinsley. For the award Bachelor of Arts in Criminological Studies, Adam Honeyman. For the award Bachelor of Science in Forensic Psychobiology, Remy Martin. For the award Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Media, Culture and Society, Cameron Taylor. For the award Bachelor of Science in Nursing, Caroline Barr. Leon Chitekwe. Ross Cullen. Joanna Gashala. Morgan Hutchison. And Claire Mackenzie. For the award of Bachelor of Science with Honours in Nursing, Mental Health Nursing, Claire Hughes. Alan Kirkland. And Abigail Walmsley. For the award of Bachelor of Science in Nursing, Mental Health Nursing, Mary Ina. Kalina Dimitrova. Scott Henderson. Stephanie Lamb. Fiona McCory. Jordan Martin. Daniela Matuza. Rachel McElwain. Natalie Minnick. Donna Petrie. Thomas Steele. And Shona Wilson. For the award of Bachelor of Science with Honours in Physical Activity and Health, Daniel Bratti. And Daniel Thompson. For the award of Bachelor of Science with Honours in Psychology, Jessica Leo. And Samantha Moody. For the award of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Social Science, Mariam Kiani. For the award of Bachelor of Science with Honours in Sociology, Shannon Maguire. And Kelly Norton. For the award of Bachelor of Science in Sport and Exercise, Sabrina Irvin. For the award of Bachelor of Science in Sport and Exercise Nutrition, Jonathan Payne. For the award of Bachelor of Science in Sport and Exercise Science, Saqib Iqbal. And Shona Townsend. For the award of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Sport and Management, Michael Hill. Andrew MacDonald. Lauren Pratt. Martin Smith. And Finlay Tom. For the award of Bachelor of Arts in Sport and Management, Rory Crawford. For the award of Bachelor of Science with Honours in Sport and Psychology, Andrew Kernahan. For the award of Bachelor of Science with Honours in Sports Coaching, Craig Milne. And Douglas Paul. For the award of Bachelor of Science in Sports Development, Sam Christie. And for the award of Bachelor of Science in Sports Development and Coaching, Duncan Sampson. Chancellor, that concludes the awards from the School of Social and Health Sciences.
Chancellor, I invite you to confer degrees and diplomas in absentia on those candidates unable to be present today.
Lord Provost, Chancellor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege to have the opportunity to address you today. I know I speak for the whole university community when I say that graduation day is the highlight of our university calendar as we celebrate the success of our graduates. First of all, I'd like to congratulate our honorary graduates, Rob Hubbard, Judy Murray and Matthew Syed. You honour us by your presence here today. You are, in your careers and in your lives, inspirations to us all. Welcome to the Abertay family. My congratulations to you, our graduates. You should be very proud of your achievements. You sit before us as masters of your subject, which is, of course, what it is to be a university graduate. This is a wonderful thing. Achievements of this kind are not easy, and I know that you have all overcome challenges during your time at Abertay. Challenges as a student are always personal ones. It's between you and your ambition, you and your subject, you and your essay deadline. The achievements that we celebrate today are individual achievements, and they're all the more impressive for that. But university is also about friendship and comradeship and being part of a community, the Abertay community. Many of you have played sports, joined societies or volunteered, either within the university or in the wider community. You have all contributed to the learning of others and to the richness of their lives. Sometimes you will know this at the time, for example, when you've helped a classmate with an essay, but sometimes you won't know it, and you realise only later, perhaps years later, how you helped a fellow student at a difficult time. Of course, your network of supporters extends beyond the university. Your families and friends at home have also been with you throughout your studies. They supported you from a distance when you needed it, all those phone calls and text messages, and sometimes from close by, such as when you needed your laundry done. I know that their support and their confidence in you is a large part of why you came to Abertay and why you are here today at your graduation ceremony. And of course, it's why they are here with you today, some in person and I know others in spirit. So let me thank all your supporters on your behalf. But this isn't really enough for me to thank them. So could I ask all of you, our graduates, to stand up, turn around as best you can, and give some applause to your supporters. You probably didn't expect that kind of audience participation. You also have other supporters, the staff at Abertay, many of whom are with us today. There are those who taught you, of course, as well as those who advised you when you wanted advice, although we heard something earlier about advice and when to take it and when to think about it, but I'm sure the advice was very good. And those who helped you when you needed help, as well as a host of people behind the scenes who keep the university running smoothly. Could you please, again, stand up and join me in thanking the staff of the university. That's the end of the audience participation. You may sit down. So, what lies before you? Well, Abertay's emphasis on preparing its students for the world of work is well known, but there's much more to it than that. As a university, we have as one of our objectives, as we put it, to inspire and enable our students, staff and graduates to achieve their full potential. Well, we certainly hope we've done some inspiring and enabling during your time with us. We also hope we provided a foundation for your continued learning throughout your working lives. Of course, an Abertay education is not just a preparation for the world of work, it's a preparation for life, and I know that your experience at Abertay will equip you for voluntary work, public service, and a whole range of contributions to the wider community. I want to go back briefly to our objectives, to inspire and enable our students, staff and graduates to achieve their full potential. So it's about you as students, but also about you as graduates of Abertay. As you go out into the world as part of the Abertay class of 2016, you remain part of the Abertay family. You are now members of the Abertay Alumni Network, a diverse community of over 26,000 graduates who live and work throughout the world and who are proud to say that they studied at Abertay. We will keep in touch with you and help you to keep involved in the life of the university through our Alumni Network events held both in the UK and abroad, and by supporting you in your career development. From time to time, we might ask you to do something for future generations of students, to give back to the Abertay community, to give your time, to give voice to your experience, to give your expertise, perhaps by speaking to a prospective student about life at Abertay, or by providing careers advice to students, or maybe by coming back as a guest speaker, or by providing a placement for an Abertay student. We want you to be part of our future and to continue to share our ambitions. So we will keep in touch with you. Please do keep in touch with us. Finally, there will be celebratory drinks at the end of the ceremony in the Marriott Hall, which is part of this building, just behind the main hall. I hope you and your friends and family will join us for a drink. Staff will be on hand to direct you at the end of the ceremony. My congratulations again on your achievements and the very best of luck for the future. Thank you.